Well, first two worsts figure out which is worse. And then the other two worsts figure out which is worse. And then the top two worsts fight it out until eventually you get the WORSTEST Worstest.
Well,
Here we are again.
look at us go. There's no stopping these crazy kids from their
Things
sweet.
just get worser and worser.
They really do. Except for, of course, this podcast, which is only getting better and better.
My goodness.
What's going on, you crazy kids listening? What's going on with you guys?
I am
good.
well. I am well.
Yeah,
Good.
it's good.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, me too.
Just getting over a bit of a bad cold, but coming
no.
through now. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice still. Probably not. Hopefully not.
I think you sound good.
I thought you were going for something gruff and ready to mirror our subject for today. The very masculine and combative sports, or should I say, the worst sports franchise.
Terrible.
That's right, John. This is my high school football coach voice.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna revert through the entire time being this guy.
I like that guy.
These goddamn mamby-pambies with their bats and back when I won't do that. That's not what I'm gonna. But you keep with the high school coach voice.
Well, I enjoy that voice once in a while.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Are Pete, Scott, are you going to be doing your own voices, or do you have characters that you'd like to play for the next 2 hours?
I wasn't really prepared.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about
I
it.
didn't
but
workshop anything, I guess
That's
is what I'm
best.
saying.
That's
I'm going to
best.
use my disgusted voice. I can tell you that.
Well, there we go.
Oh, during your presentation, you mean?
That's all we need. That's all we need. Really quickly, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. We'll take it over here to begin with.
Hello, all you fine listeners out there. This is Pete Cotta, and shall I say what I'm going to be presenting on? Or
Yeah, why don't you say it so there's no surprise?
I proclaim to all ye listeners, even in Ireland and Antarctica, wherever you are, the worst sports franchise are the New York Jets. They suck.
Excellent.
Well, hello, Pete. This is
Hey
Scott
there.
Bradshaw, and I'm going to be talking about perhaps a slightly lesser-known franchise. Well, you know what? I take that back. I think everybody knows who they are. They don't just really know them. I think the worstest sports franchise is a team known as the Washington Generals. So if you're not exactly sure who they are, don't worry. You'll realize soon enough you do know exactly who I'm talking about.
Excellent.
Professional punching bags, I believe.
Pretty much.
And I am Tim Thieck, and I am going to talk about the New York Knicks as the worstest sports franchise.
Go New York, go New York, go.
And I, John Dorsick, knowing nothing about the sports ball, but I do know how to do my research. And I will be diving into the world of the Baltimore Orioles and why they are the worst sports franchise.
Wow. All right.
So, I don't even have anything planned. Just like when you go do sports ball stuff, you just want to get right into the game. Today,
Put me in, coach.
You are getting put in. A matter of fact, you are getting put in.
What?
Yes.
First string?
First string, first team, first string, first knot. Is that what they do in the sports ball? First, you're the first string and the first knot.
So, I keep hearing sports ball or
Yes.
sports bowl.
Either, I don't know what any
Okay.
of it means.
John, in case those who don't realize, John is not a sports fan. He
I'm
doesn't-
not. Well, you know what? I'm a fan of it. I like going to see baseball games.
Okay.
Hockey games I enjoy very much.
You're not knowledgeable about the world of sports, the history of the sports.
Only thing I know or care about in sports is Doc Ellis, the baseball player who pitched a perfect game.
No hitter.
No hitter, right? Not a
Mhm.
perfect game. A no hitter while he was on LSD.
That's a great story.
Wow.
It is, and it is the only thing I know or care about in sports.
Well, don't forget about Will Chamberlain scoring 100 points, being hung over off his mind. Like he drank incredibly before that.
Really?
Yeah,
That's all right. Good. That's
he was
good too.
Very hungover.
So, without any fanfare, well, lots of fanfare, I guess, but fill in your fanfare. Sing whatever sports ball song it is that you sing before seeing your favorite sports ball team. sing it to yourself as we just dive right like a bum 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 bum. That's Notre Dame, right? I know that.
I think so, yes.
Look at us. We're going to dive right in. So, our first two worstologists
There you go.
who are going to fight it out. We have Scott with the Washington Generals and Tim with the New York Knicks. Scott, take whatever shaped ball it is that you're playing with right now, and you take it, and you either score a goal or a touchdown or a Scradsblat or whatever sports ball you're playing. You take it and you score with it, Scott. Here he is, Scott Bradshaw, number 78 with the Washington Generals. Go, Scott!
Oh man! All right. Well, it's good to be up first. So I don't know about all of you, but I find myself feeling a bit nostalgic these days. Thinking back to those precious times in life, when we were young, time when things just appeared simple, felt good, seemed right. I mean, it's anyone's guess why I would be feeling this in an especially strong way now, right?
Right.
With that nostalgic feeling in mind, when prepping for today's episode, it actually prompted a memory about being plopped down in front of my family's TV, color TV one, we were lucky, watching ABC's Wide World of Sports. You guys remember that show?
Great show.
Oh, amazing.
I don't.
You don't? All right. You weren't doing the sports ball thing.
No.
John was watching The Lepus on
I
NEW.
was watching Night of the Lepus.
Well, let me educate you about that show, John, because
Please, this is what this
Absolutely.
podcast is all about.
about teaching people stuffs. So they was on TV from 1961, to 97. Covered a huge array of different events, stuff like figure skating, all over the map. NASCAR races, bowling, hurling, powerlifting, demolition derbies. That was probably the first time I ever saw a demolition derby.
I think they had arm wrestling on that, didn't they?
Absolutely. It was like all over the place. And I mean, if you wanted to watch Evel Knievel perform a death-defying stunt that resulted in his femur piercing his perineum, where else are you going to go, right? It had to be Wide World of Sports.
So I think I did watch that.
Yes, absolutely.
I do remember that.
That was the famous intro with the skier doing the face plant.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
The agony of defeat.
The agony
yeah.
of defeat.
Yeah, it was some Eastern European dude.
Yeah.
So, look, what was one other thing that was great about this show is that they regularly, during our childhoods, they regularly featured the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. The Harlequins of the hardwood court, the Rancateurs of the rock. Pure joy to watch, right? So I remember watching some of those Globetrotter greats, guys like Meadowlark Lemon, Geese Osby, and of course Curly Neal. He was my favorite.
Yeah. I remember when they helped Scooby-Doo.
Wait a minute.
Who doesn't? I mean, that's a classic.
It's all making sense now. Please continue.
So in thinking back to those great players and how much fun I had watching, I realized I didn't know so much about the team. So just a little bit of history about them. They started off, they originated in the mid-20s, 1920s.
Wow.
And the original players, they actually initially went by the Savoy Big Five. They were from the south side of Chicago. A gentleman named Abe Saperstein, he got involved when a few of the players from the Savoy Big Five, they kind of broke off. And he was aware of them, and he got involved and became their coach, manager, promoter, and even a part-time player. So by 1929, this guy Saperstein, Abe, was driving around with this team that he was calling at that point the New York Harlem Globetrotters. And apparently, Abe, he selected the name Harlem because at that time it was considered sort of the center of Black American culture. And they started touring and starting to have some success.
When did he rename himself Vic Slam Dunk? I'm not sure.
I didn't turn that up in my I didn't turn that up in my research, Pete. You'll have to help me out with that. But before I continue, it's worth mentioning that the history of U.S. basketball at the beginning of the 20th century, it's kind of all intertwined and mixed up. There were all these competing leagues around. one would start up, fold, meld into another. It was a little hard for the research. At this time, because they had all these disparate leagues, there would be all these tournaments that popped up. So while the Globetrotters weren't doing their barnstorming, they could also get involved in some of these local tournaments around the country. And they actually won, the Globetrotters, their first professional basketball tournament. They defeated a team known as the Chicago Bruins. But really what it was a signal of is that the Globetrotters, as a team, as an entity, their popularity and their influence, it was just increasing. 1948 was also another big year for the Globetrotters. They made headlines when they faced off against and beat one of the best white basketball teams in the country, the Minneapolis Lakers.
Minneapolis accountants.
Look, at that time, the Lakers were just about to join the soon-to-be NBA. And actually, when they won that championship, the Minneapolis Lakers, when the NBA formed, I'm not exactly sure why they decided to do this, but I guess they were seen as one of the premier U.S. leagues. So the NBA now counts them as one of their very first champions, even though the league didn't form until 49. But it was amazing because here's this team, all black players, and they take on this more well-established team, and they show that they can play with the best teams around there. So they continue to, this is the Trotters, they continue to easily win games, and part of it was because they were monopolizing all of the best black basketball players and talent in the country. And that actually led to the NBA taking notice, okay? They began to recruit black players themselves, the NBA, in the early 50s. There was a guy, Harlem Globetrotter named Chuck Cooper. He became the first black player to be drafted in the NBA by Boston. And teammate Nat Sweetwater, God, I love that name.
It's a good name.
Nat Sweetwater Clifton became the first black player to sign an NBA contract when the New York Knicks purchased this contract from the Globetrotters for $12,500. This is where my story takes a little bit of a turn. In 1952, Globetrotters are still owned by Abe Saperstein, and he invites a guy named Louis Herman Red Klotz. I love that name, Klotz.
Red
Klotz.
Klotz.
Louis Herman, but everyone called him Red. Red Klotz.
Everybody called him Brain Klotz.
So Abe asks Red, hey, would you create a team to accompany Globetrotters on their various tours? Now, Klotz was a former player for a team known as the Philadelphia
Strokes.
the Philadelphia SPHAS. Okay, that sounds weird, but it's really an acronym. SPHAS.
Okay.
The South Philadelphia Hebrew Association. Okay, he was playing with them back in the day. It was the SPHAS itself. They were a former ABL or American Basketball League team.
They were a Jewish team?
Yeah. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, Jewish players was so instrumental in I guess the burgeoning sport of basketball in the U.S.
Interesting.
at the turn of the 20th century. It really is. And honestly, Tim, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, I would start to look up stuff with Saperstein, and here comes Klotz. This other guy, Eddie Gottlieb, who also was big with the SPHAS back in the day. I guess there were all of these citywide teams. They'd play in high school, want to keep it going, and that's how all these leagues started to sprout up afterwards.
So they were great at playing basketball, but terrible at naming their teams. Evidently, is the thing that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Well,
Spas is
yeah.
Also, the Krauls, the Glinks.
You know, my recollection was that league helped to sponsor them initially, and I guess they wanted to just represent the league as they were playing. So anyway, Klotz creates this squad, okay, in part because when Klotz played for the SPHAS, that was one of the exhibition teams that the Globetrotters played, and Klotz's team beat the Globetrotters. They have not lost much, but Red's team happened to beat them. So Red, he creates the Washington Generals. And apparently he decided to name the team the Generals out of respect, so to speak, for Dwight D. Eisenhower. But when you hear the rest of the story, one should probably assume that Klotz really didn't like Eisenhower all that much.
So the Harlem Globetrotters were felled by the Klotz much like my grandfather.
All right.
Sad.
So at this point, I guess it's important for me to make this clear. I am proclaiming that the professional basketball team known as the Washington Generals is without a doubt the absolute worstest sports franchise ever. For reasons which I will explain shortly, I would like to ask my fellow hosts to write down this number. It's very small. Please write down 0.0002. We good? All right, here we go.
Being that we have a very low budget, I'm the only one with pen and paper. So I have written it, and now
Show it up. Show it to everybody,
I'm
John.
showing it
Oh my
to
God.
everybody.
Yeah, that is
I think I can guess what that number means.
Yeah, it's a small number.
That is their winning percentage.
Is that the width in microns of a clot?
So just very quickly, why would Saperstein have turned to a guy like Klotz? I talked about it a little bit, but he was an American professional basketball player. Okay, so if I'm going to have somebody to compete against my Globetrotters, I need a guy, all right, who knows his way around the court. He played in the NBA, Klotz did. He was a point guard, okay? He starred on the original Baltimore Bullets team, and he played in the 1948 championship season with that team. So it's true that Klotz had some legitimate basketball bona fides. The Generals were a good match, so to speak, and remained a mostly continuous presence in the Globetrotters act from then on. To give the illusion of variety, at times the Generals would play under a variety of different names with just a change of name and uniform. For example, during the 71-72 season, the Generals' name alternated between the Boston Shamrocks, the New Jersey Reds, the Baltimore Rockets, also the Atlantic City Seagulls. That's a very tough-sounding name, huh? So again, the team rotated. They rotated between these identities for a few seasons before going back to the Generals' identity full-time.
The Omaha roly-poly bugs.
The Iowa Boll Weevils.
Something like that. So if people are remembering the team now, you're probably also recalling this, that the Generals came up on the losing end consistently when playing with the Globetrotters. The Globetrotters handily defeating them in thousands of games. That's right, I said thousands of games. Now, the numbers are staggering when you look at their actual failure rate.
So can I just interrupt with
Sure.
something? Because I feel like I've been blindsided here.
Okay.
You're trying to tell me, of all the games that I watched on Wide World of Sports, it actually was the Washington Generals under different names?
Potentially, depending on the
my
year you were
God.
watching and the match, it is possible that it was the Generals in a different costume.
Sports are a farce. Everything I've grown up with, it's a farce.
I knew it from the time I was 6. That's why I only watch wrestling.
The only sport you can trust.
Amen.
That's right.
So again, I want to pitch to you guys their failure rate, all right? With any other sports franchise, it's common practice to focus on a team's winning percentage. I can't do that here with the Generals because their winning percentage is so low to be non-existent. So stats were a little different depending on the source. I went with the most cited official statistics, and it states that the Generals have beaten the Globetrotters three times while losing approximately 16,000 games. That's 16,000 games.
That sounds like me on Tinder.
Now, Scott, I'm going to ask a question here, Scott.
Go for it.
The Washington Generals are supposed to lose, right?
Well, my research has shown that there's a certain understanding between the teams. Okay, I already see where my friend Tim is going here. They are quality basketball players, and when they are in control of the ball, the game is on. They are trying their hardest. They're using every skill at their disposal to score, and most of the games are very, very close, where for entertainment purposes, they are asked to ease up a little bit when Curly Neal is eating a bowl of cereal while dribbling between his legs. But when they start to advance to the basket, they do get to play defense.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
So in
Okay.
saying that, does this mean that defense isn't the whole game? Isn't that a sports ball thing?
I think the
it's all-
Generals have never really had a great defense. I think that's what we're trying to say.
well, their offense isn't so hot either.
Probably not.
Well, here's what. Let me just keep going here,
Yes.
okay? All right, because I feel like I'm not able to make my point, and I want to. I desperately want to
I
for our
want you
listening
to.
audience. Okay, so again, they have established an incredibly impressive losing percentage. So I definitely have to take out the calculator here. Okay, so excuse me. All right, here we go. That's 16,000 divided by 16,003. So they have established a losing percentage of. Thank you. Let's go to the tape. No.
Oh,
A losing percentage of 99.98%.
Wow.
Now,
Very
if you
impressive.
are, hang on, John, keep that up for
I'm
our,
once again holding
for
up
our
the paper.
host. Now, if you're a sports traditionalist, that amounts to a .0002 winning percentage, which equals basically never. In the U.S. in 2023, you were more likely to die from poisoning than witness a Generals win. How can this be topped, I ask? Well, every other sports franchise has already topped it. I guess the question is, how can it be bottomed? Well, maybe I'm not asking that question. It can. The Washington Generals are simply the worstest sports franchise ever to exist.
All right.
Wow.
very good. So they won 3 times in their entire career. What made them win? Like, why did they win? And can you imagine going to, like, so was it...
The story I heard.
Okay.
Well, hang on. You can't take away my second round
Okay.
material here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
If I'm lucky enough to
hold-
advance,
Okay.
Then I will.
I will
I'm gonna
grant
make a
him this.
note. I'm going to make
So-
a note.
Okay.
And then we will, if you make it to the second half.
That's true.
Who knows what Tim?
Well, Tim has a strong competitor he's putting up against my Generals, albeit another basketball team with certainly a much higher winning percentage
Well-
and a much lower losing
Well,
percentage.
my team tries to win. That's the
Sometimes.
I
difference.
don't know what you're.
Sometimes.
I don't know what you're insinuating.
Well, okay. So then we will not ask any more questions of
Okay.
Scott and his fantastic,
Putrid team.
fantastic putrescence.
Craptastic.
Now let's go to young Tim Thieck, the
Okay.
New York Knicks. Tim,
Yes,
take it away.
Thank you. I have picked the New York Knicks. Now, let me start by saying I'm not the biggest fan of basketball, nor am I a New York Knicks fan. I did grow up watching the Boston Celtics because my dad was a big Celtics fan. The Celtics had great teams in the 1980s when I was a teenager. There were some fabulous NBA finals between the Lakers and Celtics. Celtics and Rockets when the Lakers played the Sixers and the Pistons. The 80s had just great basketball. But I was never a Knicks fan. But I want to be clear that I don't hate the Knicks. I don't have any bone to pick with them as a team. Their fans are obviously very loyal, very passionate.
This is all about facts.
Well, I'm going to state the facts, Pete.
That's right.
And I think the New York Knicks are the worst sports franchise. Not just the worst NBA franchise, the worst sports franchise. And I'm going to lay out why. There are teams that have won fewer championships, right? The Knicks have won 2 NBA championships, 1969 and 1973. There are teams that have a worse winning percentage than the New York Knicks. Certainly not just in basketball, but in all the major sports. I am picking the New York Knicks because they are some of the biggest underachievers in all of sports. And by that, I'm talking about where they play. New York Knicks play in the biggest market in the entire United States. They play in arguably the most famous arena in the United States, in Madison Square Garden.
I would say one of the most famous arenas in the world.
Possibly in the world, in Midtown Manhattan. So the fact that this team has been around for about 80 seasons now and only has 2 championships to show for it, not to mention the fact that in the last 20 some odd years, other than the last couple seasons, which I will give them credit, they have definitely improved as a team, they have been pretty much a laughingstock outside the last 2 years. And I'm going to lay the blame on that right square on the doorstep of their owner, a man named James Dolan. Oh, yeah. Now, you might be the most passionate Knicks fan there is, but almost certainly you do not like James Dolan.
Not if you're from New York.
No, he is notorious. And so this is more, it's more of an indictment against their owner than the franchise itself, to be fair.
Listen up.
So in 80 seasons, I looked it up today, I used Basketball Reference. And if you're interested in looking at statistics, whether it's basketball, baseball, pro football, or college football, they each have their own reference site, and they are fabulous treasure troves of information. You can get lost on these. So I went to Basketball Reference, and I looked up the New York Knicks' lifetime winning percentage. They have won 3,025 games. That's 3,022 more than the Washington Generals. And lost 3,162. So a not terrible 489 winning percentage. Under 50%, but that's not awful. They have made the playoffs 46 times out of 80 seasons, which sounds really good, but if you know the NBA, you also know that many teams make the playoffs every year. So that's not as outstanding as it sounds.
Still better than red clots.
Most certainly, most certainly. So the problem here really lies, I would say, in the last 25 years. James Dolan bought the New York Knicks in 1999. For those who may not know, James Dolan is the son of Charles Dolan. Charles Dolan is quite famous in the New York tri-state area for being the owner of Cablevision, which, of course, when most of us got cable TV in the early 1980s, we had Cablevision. And, at the time we were kids, it was the greatest thing ever. You can watch movies without commercials, unedited.
You can take a screwdriver to the control box and watch the pornography.
That's right. Yes. Well, we all had that little trick, right? Hitting a couple buttons at the same time to get the Playboy channel.
I saw parts of Barbarella for the first time.
Very exciting. So we can thank Mr. Charles Dolan for bringing that. Cablevision, however, has had rather a bad reputation among people in the last 20, 25 years. James Dolan has inherited this company. He, I believe, went to SUNY New Paltz for music. He wanted to be a musician. And he does have what...
Oh, doesn't he have a shitty band?
He does.
He does have a band, yeah.
Yes, he has what can only be described as a vanity band or a vanity...
Project?
Project,
Yeah.
thank you, yes. Called JD and the Straight Shot, which is about as cringy a name as you can imagine.
Actually, JD and the Straight Shot was one of the pornography movies I watched when I
there
opened
you
up
go.
the box of a screwdriver.
There you go. So it's not that Jimmy Dolan, as he's known among people, is a bad owner. Is that he is a petty owner. He is, really there's no other better word to describe him, petulant. He is like a petulant child who has put up all kinds of barriers between himself, his players in the media, and maybe the worst thing of all, he is actually using facial recognition to prevent certain people from going to Madison Square Garden to see the New York Knicks, and I believe the New York Rangers, which also play in the Garden, and I think he has ownership stakes in.
Is it Jack Nicholson?
I don't know if it's Jack Nicholson. It's any person who he has deemed to be persona non grata.
He's vindictive.
He's vindictive. That's a great word. He is vindictive. If you criticize a team too much, maybe online or in the press, he will ban you from the Garden. People who work for law firms that he is in a dispute with, law firms who do work for his people who oppose him in court.
It's competition? Or...
Yes, competition. He has banned them using facial recognition from the Garden.
That's crazy.
It is. And it might even be illegal, so there's talk about possibly threatening to revoke his liquor license in the Garden if he keeps doing it.
I don't want to help my opponent here, but I definitely share some of his vitriol for James. So the Knicks are my basketball team.
Right.
I would not count them as the worstest sports franchise, but they have definitely struggled since their heyday in the late 80s and early 90s when I was a massive Knick fan. And one of the all-time greats from that era with Patrick Ewing was Charles Oakley. And he got into a tiff with James simply because of criticizing the way the team's being managed. And he's been physically removed from a game.
That's right.
It's despicable
I've heard
what
that.
this guy does.
So I just think for a city as great as New York, for an arena as great as Madison Square Garden, and since it's facelift a few years ago, the Garden. I don't know if last time you've been to the Madison Square Garden. The
Last
Garden
year.
is fantastic.
It's gorgeous.
It's really great now. It was something like $1 billion makeover that the Garden has had, and it looks really fantastic.
All of Penn Station, it's beautiful.
Much better, much better.
Yeah, it's still never going to be Grand Central Station.
I mean, the Rats wear black ties now.
Yeah, right.
Certainly better than what it was. So he bought the team in 1999, and they did not post another winning season until the 2012 season, when they went 54-28 and they lost in the conference semifinals to the Indiana Pacers. They have the last 2 seasons. They have had winning records. They went to the playoffs. I do remember going out with my family, being at a sports bar, and the Knicks playoff game was on. And
Sports ball!
yeah,
Sports ball.
and I was, I don't root against the Knicks. Any New York team that makes the playoffs, I will root for them. They did not. Did they lose to the Pacers again? They did lose to the Pacers, didn't
Yeah.
they? So they have markedly improved in the last few seasons. They've had winning records since 2022. But that means in 2 decades, when the value of NBA franchises has gone through the stratosphere, when professional basketball has now gone truly international, the team that plays in the largest and arguably most important city in America, with a current value of $4 billion, has about 3 winning seasons in the past 25 years. They've averaged about 35 wins in those times, and they for at least for a while, not recently, but for that long stretch, they were
82-game season, right?
yeah, an 82-game season.
Right.
Thank you, Pete. They've been essentially the laughingstock of the NBA. Again, last 2 seasons notwithstanding. So to me, I think to play in a market the size of New York, you should have players lining up to play for you, to play for that team, to play in that arena, to play in the city. And this, if you know the NBA, you know that for the last 15, 20 years, NBA players have been taking pay cuts to play on what's called super teams because they want to win a championship. They have all the money in the world. What they want to do is they want to win a championship. So because of the salary cap, they can't command their full salary and play with other great players. But in order to win a championship, they agree to take a pay cut. And then they'll play in the same team as 2 or 3 other great players, and they'll win a ring. That's kind of a big thing with these guys. So there was talk about LeBron James perhaps maybe coming to New York, maybe taking a pay cut to play in New York. And he was a bit reticent about it, but it was quite clear he wanted nothing to do with it. Because, and again, and everyone knew why. It's the owner. Nobody wants to play for him. So you might say, well, Tim, aren't there way worse teams, not just in the NBA, but certainly in other sports? Yeah, there are. The Detroit Lions, another team that has had recent success, but has had an historic losing legacy. Not only have they never won the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era, they haven't even made a Super Bowl. But the thing is this, to put together a winning NFL team, there's a lot of moving parts. You have 11 players on the field at any time on offense and 11 on defense. You've got special teams. There's all kinds of coaching. It's really hard to put together a winning football team. Even great franchises like the Chicago Bears have only won 1 Super Bowl in their entire history. But in basketball, all you need are 5 players. 5 decent players on the court with a few key backups, and you could string together 40, 50, 60 wins, perhaps, and then go to the NBA playoffs and you have a punching chance of winning a championship. They haven't even come close to doing that other than the past couple of years. So to me, in basketball, it should be even easier to put together a championship team every once in a while, especially in a big market. Are the Sacramento Kings a worse team than the Knicks? Yeah, they have a worse winning percentage. They actually did win as the Rochester Royals in 1951. I just looked this up. So they have a ring. They have a championship. But it's Sacramento. It's a tiny market. No one expects them to win. Same with Milwaukee, who actually did win several years ago.
Yeah, the Bucks.
Yeah, that's right. And yet the Knicks playing in the biggest market in America, and the Brooklyn Nets notwithstanding, they don't have much other competition in New York the way the Giants and Jets have each other, the Mets and the Yankees, the Rangers and Islanders in hockey, also with the Devils. it's really just the Knicks. The Nets have a very small fan base, and yet they've never managed to do it more than twice, in 1969 and 1973. So to me, this owner who is basically an arrogant, overgrown, spoiled child, he has just run this franchise into the ground.
You're never going to be allowed in Madison
I was
Square
thinking
Garden.
that too. I know, and
Don't put Tim's picture up on the website.
Seriously, that is my summation for now. Thank you. Had to get that off my chest.
Bravo,
Yeah,
bravo.
There's passion. It was passion.
That was indeed.
So Pete and I have a very arduous and nebulous.
It always comes down to an odd, matchup.
Yeah,
It's tough call.
isn't easy. So,
I want to try to help you guys.
oh, please do. Thank you.
Because I think Tim actually made a very educated argument about focusing a lot on the metropolitan area and how, given the focus, the fame, the monies available, how the Knicks should have been doing better. I agree with him wholeheartedly.
Well, thank you, Scott.
What I would also point out, though, as I think one of our hosts will do in a little bit, that there are a lot of New York sports franchises sucking wind right now, all in the same market. So I don't know how that makes the Knicks all that special.
It's a good point. It's a tough time for New York sports the last
Without
several
a
years.
doubt.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I don't know, but
I heard somebody say it just a minute ago.
Just now, a matter of fact.
Take our word for it, John.
By the way, I would like to just before we start this, I would like to say that I think I made a very pointed comment earlier when you said that Dolan keeps people from Madison Square Garden. I said Jack Nicklaus or Jack Nicholson.
You said Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Yes.
You did. Yeah.
Isn't he a big L.A.
Lakers fan.
Lakers fan?
He is,
Yes,
John.
he is.
That's right. He is.
I think I made a sports ball insightful comment.
I think you did.
Bravo,
Yes.
bravo. We're so proud.
I just have one request, John. If you could stop saying sports ball. That it's not really a thing.
Well, there is the puck.
Oh, gotcha. Well, yes. You can just say sports.
you could.
Well, all right.
It's fine.
You could, for
Then I'll
example.
do that. So, Pete and I, we have a arduous task.
Right.
But neither of these really fit the bill as a worst franchise. As Tim said, they have a 50-50 winning, 50-50
right.
winning team. Scott's team is imaginary.
That's true.
Well, that's not true.
I mean, they're there.
Yes.
Born from a clot.
A red clot, no less.
Quite like my uncle's limp left arm.
Oh.
That is terrible. That is terrible.
And of course, the notion of them winning is certainly imaginary.
Yes, most certainly.
They've got 3 wins. It is not imaginary. It has happened twice in the 50s and the last time, 1971.
Now, I meant to ask this question before. Is one of those wins the first time they played? Or didn't you say they beat them?
No, I was referencing, in the complicated history of U.S. basketball, I was referencing the fact that Red played on a different team that beat the Globetrotters. And Saperstein, I think, thought, well, you'd be a worthy adversary on the court. Your team.
That 1971 loss still rankled Curly Neal.
He yelled at the team. I can't talk about it. I have to wait until the next round if I get there.
Okay.
What do you think?
We got the Washington Generals, bad team. Yeah, they're just bad.
Washington Generals, bad team. New York
Knicks,
Knicks, bad owner.
Bad owner. Bad owner, bad team. Yeah, it's two different angles. I feel like the Generals are more like designed to lose, and whereas Jim Dolan is just a creep. So I would go towards Tim and the New York Knicks as the worstest franchise myself.
I love the idea of choosing the Generals, but I too have to go with the Knicks. There's an element of chance out there. When they're out there, it's there's a chance they'll do well. It's a chance they'll do poorly. There's a chance. The Generals, aside from in the 50s and once in 1971, the chance has been removed. So we come to the
think
decision.
we find ourselves in agreement.
In agreement with New York Knicks.
Well,
New
all
York
right.
Knicks being the worstest.
The first round.
Firstest,
well
worstest.
done.
Thank you.
Well done. The Knicks.
You guys will now be banned from the Garden too.
That is. So before we take a quick break, Scott, could you tell us the 3 reasons why the Generals won?
The 3 reasons?
Or they won
scored
3
more
games.
points?
Listen,
Look,
I'm not an expert in, Tim, sports.
Thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
Now you got it.
What about the pucks?
But I do know and the Bucks. But you said that you had insight into why they won.
And I don't feel like sharing it because I didn't make it to the next round. I will
share it.
I
You
will.
are getting salty, my friend.
You can. I will say this though. I feel like you guys just ended up making my point because now their losing percentage has gone down even more.
Well, that is very true. That is very true.
The story I heard is that the Globetrotters deliberately fell behind and would catch up toward the end to make it exciting. And that game in 1971, it was a little too late. So by the time they looked up and realized, oh my goodness, we're down X number of points, we got to score quickly, they simply ran out of time.
They failed the open book test.
And if I could add, okay, apparently the Globetrotters at this game, they were just having a really good time.
Right.
So they stretched out some of their antics, which was eating up the clock.
Right.
And they didn't realize at one point, very little time left in the game, they were down by 12.
Yeah.
And they were scrambling to try to catch up, but they ended up losing the game 100-99.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
But
Heartbreaker.
Here's the best part. Okay, when the final, I got to read this now. When the final buzzer sounded, the crowd was dumbfounded and disappointed. Klotz described the fans' reaction. They looked at us like we killed Santa Claus.
Oh, man.
Kids were crying in the
Wow.
stands.
Some
Tell
might-
me they're
wow.
not worse. They did that to a bunch of kids in 1971. You missed the boat.
Some might say that team is a real meadowlark lemon.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if the Generals popped champagne in the locker room after that.
Yeah, right.
Apparently, they doused themselves with soda pop.
Okay.
That's all they had available.
Oh, poor things. They'd never won before.
But Tim was right. Curly Neal, he was injured that game, could not play. Tore the team up in the locker room, but Mr. Lemon did go over to the opposing locker room and congratulated all of them, so he was a fine gentleman.
Well, I remember in Scooby-Doo.
The meddling kids is what we all
Yeah.
remember.
Didn't they go to Gilligan's Island at one point?
Oh, yeah, they went. Ruth Buzzy was on there.
Yeah.
Like Phyllis Diller was. It was maniacal. Much like the second third of our show will be right after this beautiful music. Please hold. Wasn't that nice?
Lovely.
It really was so good. I was broken up by the terror of Phyllis Diller being a robot on Scooby-Doo.
I'm glad it's too much freedom rock.
Oh, turn it up, man.
No such thing, man.
You were born a rambling man, weren't you? So let's jump into the second half of the second third.
Who's going first?
So it's Pete and I. Pete, you are on the roster. Is that the word?
Yes. You got it, John.
As this episode is going, I'm learning so much about sports.
There you go. We've
Don't
got
they
some
call it the roster
sports.
ball?
Don't you start, Pete.
Tim, I think it's Pete's time to step to the plate.
There you go.
What?
There you
Put
go.
me in, coach. Pete, it's your turn to go against me.
Okay.
Your choice being the New York Jets.
The New
Take
York
it away.
Jets. Okay. First of all, I will not step up to the plate. That's the wrong sport. It's ball.
I know I said that on purpose.
Let me just start off by saying, I apologize to everyone out there in the world listening to this fine podcast, but the fact is, we live in the New York metropolitan area, so, we're familiar with certain teams more than other teams. However, when it comes to the New York Jets, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you live in Antarctica, the Jets still suck.
Pete, may I ask,
Yes.
what football team do you support?
I used to be a Jets fan. I don't really follow football
You just
anymore,
couldn't
to be
take it
honest.
anymore.
You could say that, but no, I don't really follow football anymore. But the
Okay.
Jets, I kind of like the Jets still, but it's kind of like self-destruction. It's like
It's like rooting for the Washington Generals.
it is. Except for that the Jets, like you alluded to before, have a reason to try to win. And I believe they do try to win. They just don't. I have accumulated
Wow, I see a lot of numbers over there.
the win-loss records of the New York Jets. And it's not pretty, I'll be honest with you. I'll start with the summary here. All-time regular season record, 433 wins, 559 losses, and 8 ties.
What's that winning percentage?
43.3%.
Yeah, not great.
That's not good. That's not good. And, you know, there's the people out there who say, oh, how can you say the Jets are the worstest team? They won a Super Bowl. Give me a break. First of all, that was 1969. What year is this again? Oh, that was, what is that, 54 years ago? Which is like, what, 2-3 generations of people?
Super Bowl III.
Super Bowl III.
I think Pete just threw his Schlitz out on the floor. He's so angry.
I can still hear the Up With Children Brigade singing their
I
beautiful
smashed
song.
my Rheingold.
That was painful, that group. They were painful.
And, you know, not for nothing, about that Super Bowl victory, for anybody who doesn't know, the Jets were severe underdogs. And this is something in 66 total seasons that no other Jets team could come close to. I drew down the wins and losses, and then I said, oh, let me star the wins, and maybe I'll be onto something. Do you know that they had 0 winning seasons in the 1970s? They went an entire decade without a winning season. And also the 2020s, which I know is only halfway over.
Yeah.
But 0 wins, 0 winning seasons.
I remember the 1980s, the mid-80s, they were okay. Didn't they go to the AFC Championship?
They did. They
against
went to, I think, three AFC Championships games. But
they kept running into Miami. That was sort of the
Miami,
the wall.
and then
Marino's teams, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Baltimore. You know, when Peyton Manning was playing for them, that I think 2 years in a row they faced him. At least once they did.
Okay.
Another little fun fact is I was thinking about, you know, what makes a football team great? What is the most important position on the football team? John?
Water boy?
Exactly, the water boy. Let me tell you about,
No, wait, I even
the
know this.
quarterback.
I even know this, John.
Didn't he ask us to-
Quarterback.
Yes, it's quarterback, of course. I knew
The
John,
quarterback.
John would definitely know that.
So in my little personal analysis, I said, let's review the Jets quarterbacks.
Oh, I hope you're going to talk about Richard Todd.
Funny you should mention Richard Todd, because I said, let's see which good quarterbacks the Jets had when they were in their prime. Here's what I came up with. I got Mark Sanchez, who was right out of college, and his prime was basically about 2 years. Then Richard Todd, they got him right out of college, and he actually did pretty well. He led them to at least one championship game in the playoffs a few times. But let's face it, you know, you're talking about the greatest quarterbacks in the world. Richard Todd is going to be way down on that list. He is not going to come anywhere near the top of that list.
He's not going to Canton.
He is not.
He's definitely not.
There you go. You see?
Really?
The way he shoots
What does that mean?
puck.
Canton, Ohio.
Tim, what did that mean?
John, Canton, Ohio is where the Football Hall of Fame is.
Excellent. He's not going to Canton, Ohio, where the Football Hall of Fame is.
Now you're getting it, John.
Look at me go. Keep on going, Pete.
Actually, he requested that he be buried in Canton, Ohio, so you're wrong.
Me too.
And, of course, Joe Namath is the other quarterback who they had basically in his prime. And, you know, Joe was a great quarterback, but he had his health issues. His knees went pretty quickly, and they basically had like 2 good seasons with Joe Namath, and that's it. So,
Didn't he get the MVP for the Super Bowl, but yet he hadn't scored or something?
Excellent. You know that, John. Joe Namath, he didn't score a touchdown that game.
Right.
The running back, I believe his name was Nate Snell.
Matt Snell, yeah.
Matt Snell. He had a
Right.
very good game. And Matt Snell probably should have won the MVP. But Namath, because he predicted the Jets would win,
Right.
apparently by his own admission, he had a little too much to drink at the banquet.
yeah.
And he's after he had a few to drink, he's like, "We're gonna win, and I
Hey,
guarantee it."
baby, come on over here.
I got a new pair of pantyhose.
Yeah, Joe likes to bend the elbow a lot.
You would think that nose would get in the way of the glass. It
Yeah.
doesn't, though.
But it's just a bottle.
But
He's
his,
worked it out.
his,
He's worked
his
that out.
stat line wasn't great. It was just okay. But because he guaranteed the win and he's the quarterback, he gets a lot of the credit for the victory. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, you know, I have lots of facts here about the Jets.
Okay. Care to share? Well, you know,
I
you
really-
talked about the fact that they had. I mean, I'm interested now. You talked about the fact that they. You wrote down their entire. It sounds like the historical record. I mean, how many winning seasons has the team had?
Let's see what we have. 19 winning seasons out of 66.
That's a lot of losing seasons.
The beginning of the Jets was kind of interesting. The guy who owned them originally was rich, but not nearly as rich as the other owners. Not far into the season, it became known that the players' paychecks were not being honored at the bank.
Oh,
And so-
shoot.
And so they would like rush to cash their checks as soon as possible.
Wow. I think that's a beautiful American kind of a value kind of story. The fellow who didn't have that much money, that's when that team did the best.
Not really.
Well, their best.
No.
Oh.
No, that was only the first 2 seasons. They were mediocre.
Sometimes that's all you can do, Pete.
Sometimes, you know, I
Sometimes,
guess you're
Lord
right.
knows I know. Sometimes mediocre is all you can do.
When you're having your kids, you know, sew the uniforms and do the laundry for the team, you're doing your best you can.
It's beautiful.
You know, I really was a Jets fan, you know, back in the 80s. I enjoyed watching the Jets, and it's been a little ride through hell. It really has. They find different ways to lose,
Yeah,
right?
they
you
do.
know, sometimes they have a terrible offense. Most times they have a terrible offense. Sometimes they have a terrible defense.
Often at the same time,
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing.
Often at the
That's
same
true,
time.
too.
I rarely watch football, and I rarely watch the Jets. And I watched a game a couple of weeks ago, and they were down 20 points going into the fourth quarter. They scored a touchdown. They were coming back. They were within a touchdown.
That was a good game.
And unbelievably enough, the other team was going to kick a field goal. One of the Jets burst through the line, blocked the field goal, ran the length of the field, scored a touchdown. Jets are in the lead. 2 minutes to go in the game. I shut the game. I said that I am not watching this. They are going to lose.
You knew it, and they did.
And they lost. They
Yeah.
lost the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Like, unless
That-
the Jets score with no time left, they're going to blow the lead.
One last thing I'm going to say. Bookies.com analyzed a sample of 1,000 comments left by users on each of the 32 NFL teams' official subreddits to figure out which fan base is the most vulgar. It should come as no surprise that the Jets took home the crown
Oh, yeah.
as the team with the most profane fan base.
That is no surprise there. Although the Eagles probably gave a run for their money.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Eagles fans.
I'm sure that was a worstest competition.
Philadelphia
right there.
sports fans in general.
Oh, yeah.
Although we love you, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. They love cussing there. Philly.
They
I
have
even
it.
know about these. I even know about these 76 Flyers.
Yeah.
The mid 70s Philadelphia Flyers.
Broad Street Bullies.
That's right.
I just know from The Simpsons because they were in hell.
Oh, okay.
Or I think they were the minions in hell that were going to.
I think I remember that.
Like it was like Hitler and like the 70s.
They were a rough team. They got into fights a lot. They also won 2 Stanley Cups
Yes.
as well.
They
They were a
did.
good hockey team too. Yeah.
Yes. Didn't the Islanders beat them?
Yes, for their. I was
Yes,
going to say
first
until my
Stanley Cup.
Islanders, our dynastic Islanders came
It
along.
started, yeah, because that Flyers team was starting to get older, so they were more vulnerable. So the Islanders were young, and they were hungry, and they beat them in that overtime game.
The cirrhosis was eating away.
Yeah, well, maybe.
You could say
yeah.
that.
Both their spirit and their livers.
Well, when you look at how few teeth they had, I'm not really sure how they were eaten in the first place, John.
That's true.
Hey, do we?
Doesn't their spirit come from the liver? Is that?
The bile, that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of your 4 humors.
You
have it.
always see that in Shakespeare, right? He always references that in his plays.
Right? The bile.
Yeah.
Did we clap for Mr. Pete? I don't know.
We didn't.
Nice job, Pete.
Well,
Yeah, that was very
Thanks
well
very
done.
much.
I,
Thanks.
I almost feel bad now going against it because there's been a lot of information given fantastically by Scott and Tim. We've never had as emotional a worstest presentation. And by emotion, I mean dispirited and broken. Like the Jets broke you. Like, I feel bad.
I'm glad I don't watch football anymore.
I can see why. Jesus Christ, if it did that to you. Anyway, well, now let me our fourth and last.
Bring it on.
I am bringing you the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, so he's going to step up to the plate now.
I am
Got it.
stepping up.
Now I used it properly.
I am stepping up to the plate.
Black and orange baseball.
And here's the thing. I really kind of wanted to do something really out of the box. I wanted to go, I was looking at international. I was looking at soccer, or what our international listeners might call football.
Goal!
And then I was looking for some weird, bizarre sports and this and that. And I couldn't really find anything that I understood.
Well,
And then I went to American sports, and I really couldn't find anything that I understood there. But I just picked something, and I found intrigue and bizarreness and terribleness with the Baltimore Orioles. And so now may I present the Baltimore Orioles, the welcome mat to failure, deception, and tragic death.
Wow. I got some learning to do here.
do you call them the BOs?
No. You'll call them the BOs after I'm done with this.
Okay.
Because they stink.
Fair enough.
Just like pouring out a delicious bowl of cereal and seeing mealworms and flies amongst the blueberry ghost marshmallows and crunchy purple corn nuggets, a bad sports franchise doesn't just appear. There is a rot that set in from its very creation. Its standing as the sounding bell of all that is craptastic begins back in 1887 with the creation of the Cleveland Spiders. Ooh, wow. That name might be familiar to you, especially if you've ever looked up worst sports franchise. The Spiders had over a decade of successful seasons until 1899, when the owners bought a new franchise, the Milwaukee Brewers, and they sent all the best, winningest Spiders to Milwaukee, leaving the Spiders with the equivalent of 3 bat boys, some peanut vendors, and a one-eyed bus driver disfigured in an attempt to make love to a newly invented popcorn machine.
What?
Oh, God.
Well,
I think that might have been embellished, that last part.
well, it's the equivalent of 3 bat boys.
Oh, the equivalent. I got you.
It's poetry. It's poetry.
metaphorical.
Metaphorical, allegorical. The remnants of this one successful team went on to finish 20 wins, 134 losses that season. Wow. A record that still remains the worst season to this day, aside from the Generals, of course.
I'll just point out that they had a 130 winning percentage.
That is very true. This ended the existence of the Spiders. The Spiders stopped being a team that very year. Now, what does this have to do with the Orioles? You might be asking. Well, the team that bled the Spiders dry of all of their talent, the Milwaukee Brewers, would later be bought by a syndicate of Baltimore business and civic interests to pupate into, you guessed it, the Baltimore Orioles.
A syndicate. Meow, meow.
By the way,
you see, we're going to root them, boys.
Take these Spiders, man. Actually, the word syndicate was what was in Wikipedia. It was an actual syndicate.
Great word. We
So
don't see
hold
that
on.
much
So are
anymore.
you saying that the Spiders only played one season after they lost?
No,
the players?
They played their losing season and just were shit canned.
One season.
Yes. But the team, so they took all the good players from the Spiders, which were a great team. They took all the good players for that they sent them to the Brewers, and then they let them play with a one-eyed bus driver who lost
And a
his...
hobby horse.
One-eyed bus driver on a hobby horse.
Yeah.
So that is the failure. The womb of failure that birthed the Baltimore Orioles. And now for deception. By the 2000s, the Orioles were owned by Peter Angelos,
Not a good owner.
No.
a man who rose from working class Baltimore roots, which pretty much tells you what kind of roots those were.
I believe he's a lawyer, right?
Well, yes.
I thought he was a pimp.
Yes.
We're gonna get his lawyers on us now.
Yeah, right. Man, we're not going to be able to walk into Baltimore or to Madison Square Garden. We're fucked.
The pimps don't like us now either.
That's going to hit hard. If I lose my pimp-ins, I'm out. Anyway, the one thing he did love was his Baltimore Orioles. but evidently not his family. And it's vice versa. Once again, the Orioles would flap their cursed wings and blow a cold wind of litigious malevolence that would destroy a family. Much like a food dehydrator turns a juicy mango into dry, desiccated yellow leather. Ooh. In 2022, Louis Angelos sued his brother and mother after his father, Peter, suffered a heart attack. Louis was seeking to have his brother John, the chairman and CEO of the Orioles at the time, and his mother removed as co-trustees of the trust that controls the Orioles, and removed as co-agents of Peter Angelos' power of attorney. Peter finally passed in 2024. He ascended to his great reward, not to the tune of angel hymns, but to the legal din of he said, she saids, erupting from the greedy maws of those he loved most. It is that sound that is the true call of the Oriole bird. And speaking of which, the Oriole bird... Also! Speaking of which, the Oriole bird, the state bird of Maryland, is migratory. It only spends a portion of the year there. Then it flies as fast as it can away from there, and possibly away from that magnet for malevolence that bears its name, the Baltimore Orioles.
Wow.
Oh. And finally, since 1975, it has been a tradition to play John Denver's Thank God I'm a Country Boy during the 7th inning stretch, after it worked as a good luck charm in winning a division title against the Red Sox. It was so popular that John Denver himself danced to that song atop the Orioles dugout.
Whoa.
He died in a plane crash soon after.
Oh, man.
Wait, that's on the Orioles?
That is.
Ooh.
Once again, I'm not saying per se that the Orioles team is the worst franchise because of its sports playing. I'm saying that it is the worst team because it, in its existence, is simply a black carpet that is rolled out every time there is failure, deception, migratory bird patterns, or tragic death anywhere
If you
near.
would have done a little more research, you would have found they sucked as a team also.
Not very good. Not very good. But I figured you cats were going to go there, so I needed to dig deeper. And what I dug into was a putrefying, filthy level of, once again, failure, deception, sad migratory bird patterns, and tragic death.
Wow. This is news to me. I thought the Orioles were a fairly decent, successful franchise over the years, but I had no idea.
Maybe successful in sports, but not successful in that which is between two covers of the Holy Bible.
Ooh.
There, sirs, I give to you the Baltimore Orioles.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Wow.
Whoa. I am shook to the core after that. Well, Scott.
So I find myself in the unenviable position again to be arguing with the combatant who beat me.
Yes.
But I want to say this. I kind of feel like part of John's presentation was just a rehash of an episode of Succession. Okay? And
one of the most popular and best loved TV shows of the 2010s, no doubt, 20s.
An amazing show. While there was a lot of stuff going on around the team, for sure, okay? Especially that one-eyed bus driver. I don't know how he made it in there.
I don't know either. He does no depth perception.
It didn't have a lot to do with what goes on between the lines.
Yes.
And I want to also add this. If people don't know, we're recording in New York, and I would love to see a New York face-off here. So the Jets are terrible.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like, despite all of the other migratory patterns that John wanted to spin for us, the Jets are a worse franchise, in my opinion.
Scott, I'd like to see the Generals win a game too, but that's not going to happen either.
I would have liked to have seen that as well.
I actually would have, yes.
I agree with you, Scott. Knowing baseball what happens between the lines. The Orioles had a lot of success in the mid to late 1960s, early 70s. They were a very good team. Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson.
Cal Ripken, one of the all-time greats.
Yep, early
played for them.
1980s. Ripken won a World Series with the Orioles in '83.
They actually wanted him to run the Orioles after this big litigious.
Really?
Yeah. He was called in like, don't you want to run things?
Yeah, he is by far the most beloved Baltimore Oriole of all time, and I believe he's from the Maryland area too. So he's a demigod down there. So the Orioles have had some pretty good success
In baseball.
in baseball.
I'll shut
Yes,
up.
I know what you're saying.
I'll shut up.
Yes.
Ask one of the birds what they think.
Yeah.
You
I
can't.
can't. They left.
They
Yep.
will be somewhere sunnier clime.
You could talk to them in
So-
May, and that's about it.
So your point is taken, John, but I'm going to go purely with the sports angle. And I agree. I do also want to see a New York Jets, New York Knicks face-off. I'd love to see that. So I'm going to go.
So we got a broken bottle versus a switchblade going on.
There you go. There you go. It's going to be Jets versus Knicks.
They're both covered in syphilis.
Somehow they're both going to find a way to lose.
So it's Pete's Jets.
I think so.
That makes it worse. It's Pete's Jets.
Wow. Thank you.
Well,
I feel terrible. The Jets are terrible.
You should.
I not only feel bad about losing, but I feel bad about watching Pete once again have to talk about the Jets and see him so sad. But that is how the world of Worstest goes. So, as everybody knows, we're going to listen to a little bit more beautiful music. Maybe Pete will be able to mend his broken heart. And we'll be right back.
That was a good sigh.
Thanks.
Hey, what's going on?
Where you been?
Oh, Scott, I decided to take a college course in sports. And I wish I'd done that before this.
Look at that. Look at you, John,
I would've-
improving yourself.
I would have gone a totally different way.
Awesome. Who's
But-
your favorite team now, John?
Oh, you know what? I have so much love for so many sports now, I can't even whittle it down.
Excellent.
But maybe when I get my PhD in sports, I'll be able to tell you. But until that happens, we have the final match between Tim's New York Knicks and Pete's New York Jets. Let's not waste any more time. I gotta hear, being a newfound sports fan, I gotta hear all about this. Tim, take it away with your New York Knicks.
Okay, so I'm going to back up my point about the Knicks being the worst franchise by telling you the story of two legendary Hall of Fame basketball coaches, Larry Brown and Phil Jackson. Larry Brown famously coached the University of Kansas to an NCAA basketball title. And when the Knicks hired him on, I'm going to say in the 2000s, there was great fanfare, especially all over ESPN. They could not stop talking about it. It was like the second coming was going to be the head coach of the Knicks. And it could not have been more disappointing. Like Larry Brown couldn't turn these guys around. You know, and that rhymes, by the way.
Oh.
So Larry Brown was let go, and then along comes Phil Jackson. So if you don't know, Phil Jackson famously coached the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships. The only reason they didn't win 8 is because Michael Jordan, as the story goes, elected to play minor league baseball instead of the NBA for 2 years.
The White Sox organization.
Yeah, he played minor league baseball. Yeah, so he didn't play basketball for 2 years. If he had, there's a good chance the Bulls would have won 8 in a row. But Phil Jackson won 6 NBA titles, head coaching the Chicago Bulls, and he won, I want to say, at least 2, one with the Lakers or 2.
I
check
mean,
on
and
that.
those were some great Laker teams
Yeah.
that he was coaching there too, with Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
He got
so-
those two to get along enough.
Exactly. So Phil Jackson is one of the winningest NBA coaches of all time. I think he may have won more NBA championships than any other head coach of all time. When Dolan hired Phil Jackson to coach the Knicks, Knicks fans thought, this is it. We've got the coach we need. We're going to go to the promised land. Well, again, more disappointment. Now, I'm not saying Phil Jackson didn't have to share some of this blame, and maybe Jackson was a little past his prime as a coach. But what really rankled me, the day after Jackson got fired by James Dolan, and News 12, a local news station around here, could not stop talking about what a failure he was, and you know what a terrible fit he was, and Knicks fans are happy he's gone. And it occurred to me, James Dolan owns and controls News 12.
Yeah.
He had those newscasters basically slant that whole broadcast to make like Phil Jackson like a terrible coach. And I'm thinking, this guy is the winningest NBA coach ever. He's won like 8 or 9 titles. You're making it seem like he's the bad guy. He's the one who screwed up. It just totally solidified for me how James Dolan is just a terrible person and the worst owner in sports. And I know this is the worst franchise, but by extension, the Knicks couldn't even win with Phil Jackson at the helm.
So James Dolan is like the Kim Jong-un of local news.
Right. That is a great analogy. Yeah. And it's just another reminder that you really got to watch your media sources and where they're coming from. So I will leave it at that. I think the New York Knicks, and again, hey, God bless their fans for sticking with that team. But I think they're the worst franchise in sports.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's a crazy story.
That's a very fair argument. I think I stand pretty solid, behind the Jets being terrible. I considered choosing the Detroit Lions. They're pretty terrible. They never made a Super Bowl. Like you said, they never even made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But let's face it, the Jets have won one Super Bowl 56 years ago, and they have really sucked hard ever since. And to me, it was no trouble in dropping this other despicable team for the Jets, because the Jets are just through and through, from start to finish, a terrible, if I may say, worstest football team, the New York Jets.
Okay, well put.
That's... Well...
Again, if you're a Knicks and Jets fan, wow, you must have...
And there must be lots of them out there.
Yeah, a lot of
There must
patience. You have to have a lot of patience being fans of those two teams.
I think there's a masochistic quality to it.
We gotta broadcast this on in Times Square or something for
No, we
people's
can't.
doing.
We can't. We'll never be able to go into Madison Square Garden again.
Yeah, we'll be banned.
Yeah.
So right now we can't go into Madison Square Garden, Baltimore.
Oh no, we're out of Baltimore. Forget it.
I love Baltimore.
They're very
too.
provincial down there too.
Very.
They
I
love
love
their teams.
Yeah, I love that town though.
Yeah.
Ooh. Scott, it's you and I, man.
Are you leaning in any particular direction?
Here's my breakdown. The Knicks aren't a good team, right? And they have a terrible owner. Unless we start putting our faces on our website, and then they have a lovely owner who's just misunderstood.
Correct.
And then we have the Jets, who just aren't good. Scott, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm a little annoyed at both of these finalists because I think there were some angles that they could have played related to their franchises that would have absolutely had me diving into the deep end. How could you talk about the Knicks franchise being the worst and not mention that one of their NBA Finals games interrupted my enjoyment of the O.J. Simpson's highway
That's
chase?
right. Yes.
I mean, are you fucking kidding me? You
That's
don't bring
right.
that up, okay?
Yeah, that was June 1994. That's right.
All right?
Yep.
So you have that. And then I turn my attention to the woeful Jets. And Pete, well, I know it's the wrong sport, but he could have hit a grand slam bringing up, and Tim, I know
what you're going to say.
Why didn't he talk about the Mark Sanchez butt fumble?
The butt fumble.
Okay, one of the stupidest plays to ever take place in an NFL game. If either one of you would have mentioned that, all my chips on your side of the table.
Scott, John is not familiar with the butt fumble. Enlighten him as to what that is.
All right, well, see, I don't remember all the particulars, and I'm going to ask you to jump in.
Okay, sure
I'm going
thing.
to ask you to jump in here. So Pete had brought up that one of the halfway decent, I mean, I think if you take his entire career with the Jets, that's as good as you could describe him. One of the halfway decent quarterbacks that the Jets had was this young guy, Mark Sanchez. Really good looking. His first season and a half, maybe 2, if you looked at them. He was quite successful.
Yeah,
He went to
two seasons were good.
Yeah, he went to USC, so he had a lot of
Took him
media
to the
on
playoffs
him
2 years in a row.
college.
Right.
Going to USC in Southern California, quarterbacks there get a lot of media attention. Naturally.
Good-looking dude, too.
Good-looking dude. So when the Jets drafted him, they thought, oh, this guy is a great quarterback. He was great at USC. He's going to be great for us.
At the beginning, it looked like there was a lot of promise there.
Right.
As he was hanging on barely still with the Jets, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was a game against the hated New England Patriots.
It was against the Patriots,
Okay.
Yes.
The ball is snapped to Sanchez. As I recall, he ended up mishandling it. It drops in front of him. Okay, now a broken play like this is very scary for a quarterback. He picks up the ball, grabs it, and without even thinking, just runs straight ahead into the gigantic ass of one of his offensive linemen.
Yep.
The ball pops out, and the Patriots recover. It is the stupidest play I have ever seen.
It is absolutely hilarious.
It's like he put his head down and just ran into a fucking brick wall in the shape of a human derriere and lost the ball.
Yeah, it's something out of Benny Hill. Like, he runs square, flat out into this guy's gigantic ass and drops the ball, and the Patriots pick it up. I mean, it's you have to see it. It's hilarious to watch.
I will look it up.
It's almost unbelievable. And it's famously called the butt fumble. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know, I'm kind of shocked, actually, that didn't come up. And, yeah, to be honest.
You can't blame Pete. The Jets stole all hope,
That's true.
joy out of this man. Look at him. For you folks at home, Pete is a handsome, sinewy fellow, and he's literally sitting here
crying,
with his shoulders slumped. I've never seen him like that.
He should be for forgetting the butt fumble.
That is true.
Side story, my youngest son, was not into sports for a while, and about 3 years ago, he started really getting into sports, the way I am. And he started, like, adopting some teams. He was going to adopt the Jets. I said, Thomas, be careful of that. Like, that team's going to disappoint you. He goes, no, because I'm a Jet fan. I think he lasted a year and a half, and he just gave up, because it's like he had no patience for this. Like, it's probably a good move. You want to quit while you're ahead.
You're certainly making a case for Pete.
I am. I know. It's hard not to. Yeah.
Scott, we've taken a little walk
We have.
away from our job, away from our work, away from our decision. It was lovely spending time with you.
Yes, it was.
But we have to get back to brass tacks.
How are we defining franchise? Is that mainly about the team or about the organization around it? Because your answer to this question is going to make my decision.
So I didn't get to that course in my new sports.
You know what a franchise
college
is.
I do. It's like Pollos Hermanos.
True.
And in just like Pollos Hermanos, there's not only the chicken and the drinks, but there's also the higher ups.
The meth, you mean?
Yes. and the corrupt monsters who run it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
keep going.
And so if we're making the analogy of Pollos Hermanos and to the New York Knicks, we would have to say that
basically, we're talking about James Dolan being Gus Fring.
right.
This is a Breaking Bad reference, folks, if you're not aware of the show.
That's right. If you're one of the 7 people who've
Yeah.
never watched that. So I think with my Gus Fring, I think we're talking about Gus Fring versus Don Knotts. So yeah,
Wait a minute.
And I hate what the Jets have done to Pete in this past hour. They've broken him. He's a broken man.
This has been the worst hour of my life.
Which
It's more like 2 hours, but
which is only going to get worse because I think that I am going to go with the New York Knicks. Scott?
I agree. You define franchise for me? Done. Can we shake on it?
We can certainly
All right.
shake on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone out there, we have a worstest sports franchise, and that is the New York Knicks.
Thank you.
What an awful.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Another sad day for the Jets.
And
Another
yes,
sad
They
day.
even lost at being the worst.
Can't win at anything. Can't win
They
anything.
can't even be the worst at anything. And
Can't win for losing.
let's go around really quickly to cleanse, especially Pete. Let's cleanse the worstest off of us and just really go around quickly and talk about what is the bestest. Tim, why don't you take it away? What's your bestest of the week?
Well, I'm going to say school. I'm a high school teacher, and school has been going very well. And nothing specific, just the year is settled in.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Looking forward to a good year.
Nice. Scott?
So, not just because my wife is an avid listener of our show, but last week, less than a week ago, was our 32nd anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
So, yes, we had a lovely time at a brewery eating great pizza and drinking spectacular beer with the woman I love. So, that was pretty good this last week.
right.
That
Nice.
isn't bad. Were you at Root and Branch?
I was going to say,
were.
it sounds like Root and Branch. Good pizza, good beer.
We're not even getting money from them in Copeg, New York,
I
Long
am
Island.
so happy to promote. I think this should be a theme of the show. We start promoting brands of all different types that we love in the hopes that they'll maybe send some product our way or invite us
There you
in to
go.
do a recording there.
There you go.
Until we get huge, and then we can strong arm them for product. Aha! I'm very excited for that.
Or blacklist them from listening using AI.
Ah, facial
And
recognition.
facial recognition, that's right.
If we stay on Jim Dolan's good side, we can get
That's
him to use his techniques.
We can sit in the seat that was vacated by Charles Oakley.
There you go. Root and branch, fine people.
Root and Branch,
Fine people.
highly fine people,
stuff,
delicious
good stuff.
pizza, and amazing beer. Pete, what do you got?
Well, I was just going to say we got a text today from my daughter who just got a promotion at work and she got a nice big pay raise, and so very happy for her. Yeah,
This is Danielle.
Fantastic. Good
Excellent.
work.
Nice.
Nice. Good
Very
work.
nice.
And it just and what she does is pretty cool too, right?
she's a civil engineer.
Civil
Yeah.
engineer.
Right.
Building bridges and
Yeah.
all kinds of
And
cool
we could
stuff.
certainly use some civility these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Please build that up.
Tell her to keep engineering.
Yeah, right.
And infrastructure. We need infrastructure.
That's true.
Darn tootin'. So, of course, we do this at the end of every podcast, as everyone does, but we really mean it. If you enjoyed yourself, and of course you did, like, share, subscribe, like us on whatever podcatcher you're listening to this, share the link with friends, family, and subscribe. If you want to spend an extra 30 seconds, rate us on whatever podcatcher you're listening to this on. Give us 5 stars. That helps us so much. If you don't think it's 5 stars, give us 5 stars anyway. But then write down a critique. We read everything that you send to us, and we promise that we will put it into practice if it makes sense. We shan't do nude vodcasts often, but other stuff we might do. So anyway, have yourself the bestest week that you possibly can, and we'll see you next time. Good night, beautiful people.
Thanks for hanging out.
Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.